So you got the travel bug, like I do, and you're looking to supercharge it by targeting airline status.
Something I've been preaching on this channel for a while now.
But let me guess, when you think of airline status, you're thinking Delta, American, United, and maybe Alaska as a distant fourth.
That's the whole game for us Americans. The big three airlines.
And all of them? Ours.
So, when a credit card from a foreign airline pops up, Qatar in this case,
You just scroll right past. Because what's it gonna do for you? You're an American and you fly in America.
sit down for a second, because this is where I'm gonna lecture you.
When you dismiss Qatar Visa cards without inspecting their value, this is what you're missing.
One of the best business class seats in the sky, Qatar Airways Qsuite. It's unmatched by US carriers. Sure, the new Delta One and United Polaris are trying, but they're still a ways off in the distance.
And what about the best business class lounge on the planet? Again, it's not in Atlanta, Dallas, Newark, or even JFK.
It's Al Murjan in Doha, Qatar. Over 100,000 square feet of pure luxury. Now, for those of you who've been following this channel for a while, you should know how to amass Avios and book Qatar Qsuites. And once you book Qatar Qsuite, you'll get to experience this.
And even though those are two amazing arguments for parking status with Qatar, I know that Americans need more convincing.
So I'm going to show you how leveraging Qatar's premium credit card gets you something here at home in the US that not even your home airline status can get you.
By the way, not here. This is Table Mountain in Cape Town. This is Table Mountain, and that's Lion's Head. And this company voted Cape Town the best city in the world last year.
So stop thinking like the Delta guy or the United gal. Start thinking like someone who flies the whole world. Think globally.
Remember, we're not into airline or credit card loyalty on this channel. We're only interested in leveraging value wherever it is.
I've been rocking this card for over 2 years now.
And it just got more valuable. And I bet you no one has told you that. Why? They likely don't know. So send them this video and let's get into it.
I'm Richard with R2 Travel Rewards. This channel is built on one thing, giving you the strategy to maximize every single point and mile you earn without the noise. Let me quickly clear something up regarding the points and miles game. It's not just about getting new credit cards with sign-up bonuses or with elevated multipliers. It's about redeeming points and miles for actual travel. This member is listening. He and his player 2 are living the life. He sends me videos of his R2 travel hat traveling to interesting destinations. I want more videos of R2 travel hats around the world, so pick one up here. Speaking of around the world, and keeping with the spirit of this video, I want you all to think globally. Do you know that 80% of the world's population have never been on a plane, and that less than 8% have ever flown internationally? You're a privileged few, and I want you to lean into that. Take a break from Mexico. We know that Cancun rocks, especially if you have a family. And take a break from Europe. Nothing wrong with Europe, its architecture is impressive, but I want you to challenge yourself with travel. Europe will always be there. For your next international booking, let's make it South America, Africa, the Arab world, or Asia. These areas are emerging right in front of our eyes, and some are pushing the boundaries of modernization, while some of you are still on autopilot and missing it. I recognize that I cover lots of elevated experiences. However, you don't need to break your points bank to visit these wonderful destinations. I hear that flying economy on a long-haul trip isn't that bad. Subscribe and join my YouTube membership. Club members get to message me separately at boomacompany.com regarding their unique situation. My opinions are not biased by credit card issuers because I don't issue referral or affiliate links. I rely on your memberships to keep this channel going. There's a members only version of this video where I'm exposing a hidden benefit that can positively impact almost every single person watching right now. Alrighty, let's get into it. Alright, let's talk about the 2 US Qatar Visa cards that you may no longer ignore without giving them a serious look. A Visa signature comes in with an annual fee of $99, while the Visa Infinite version comes in at $499. Both are One World, and both earn Avios. And the gap between the two cards is the entire reason for this video. Here's a look at both cards, but I'm only gonna walk you through the Visa Infinite version. Now both cards are issued by First Electronic Bank, and the servicer is cardless. Once you meet the welcome offer requirements, your status on approval in your first year is Privilege Club Gold, which maps to One World Sapphire status. The Infinite card offers 5x Avios on Qatar Airways, 3x Avios on dining and restaurants, and then 1x Avios on everything else. You earn 2 Q points for every $1,500 spent on the card. This card gives you access to business class lounges on One World international flights, even if you're flying economy. And the card has no foreign transaction fees. Now, in terms of the welcome offer, you want to check that on the time of application. Again, I don't issue credit card referral or affiliate links. I want you to watch my videos and then study the cards and then determine for yourself if these cards work for you. And that usually takes time. One thing to know before you fall in love with either of these cards is that Cardless lets you hold only one of these cards at a time. So pick the card that works for you. Done. So in this section, I want to talk about why you as an American should care about Qatar at all. I've already mentioned Qsuite and the Al Murjan Lounge in Doha. I treat Doha as my hub into Africa and Asia. But I also treat Doha and Dubai as destinations. The good part is that Qatar Privilege Club runs on Avios. So you may feed your Qatar account from other Avios programs and from Amex, Built, Capital One, and Citi. The standout benefit is that the $499 Visa Infinite gifts you a year of Qatar Privilege Club Gold status, and that maps to One World Sapphire. Now, there is an American Airlines Lounge loophole, and most US flyers don't know about this. If you have American Airlines Advantage status, Platinum, Platinum Pro, even Executive Platinum, you do not get into the Admiral's Club or flagship lounges when you're flying on American inside the US in economy class. And on most flights, when you're flying domestic first class, the same holds true. American Airlines carves its own elites out of domestic lounge access. The same goes for Alaska's elites. So you're locked out domestically, and that's because American Airlines would rather sell you a membership. But that lockout only applies to status earned through American or Alaska. However, One World Sapphire earned through a foreign carrier sits outside that restriction. So One World Sapphire from Qatar Airways gets you into the Admiral's Club on an American Airlines domestic flight. And it also gets you into the AA flagship lounges. So let me put the exact rules here up on the screen, and feel free to pause or screenshot this. And I do need to stress, you don't need to be flying business class. This is a status benefit, not a cabin benefit. One World's own rules say that lounge access for Sapphire applies regardless of the cabin that you're sitting in. Economy seat, domestic flight, Qatar Gold, you're in. And what about flying standard domestic first class? That doesn't get you in either. I gotta pause here for a second. That's wild. If you want in and you don't hold One World Sapphire or above from a non-US carrier, then you need to be flying flagship first or flagship business on a US transcon route like JFK to San Francisco or JFK to LAX. And to be clear, I'm talking about accessing the Admiral's Club or the flagship lounges when you're flying domestically in economy or in domestic first. Holding American Airlines or Alaska status won't get you in, but Qatar Gold always does. Are you a believer yet? But here's the full picture, because Qatar Gold isn't the only way in. Look at the top two. The Citi Executive Card is $595 and it gets you a full Admiral's Club membership, but that's Americans lounges only. The Qatar Visa Infinite is $499 and the Sapphire status it hands you opens the Admiral's Club's flagship lounges and every other One World business class lounge. So if all you ever do is fly American domestically and sit in Admiral's Club, the Executive Card is the cleaner option. I'm not going to pretend otherwise, but if you want your lounge access to travel with you across Qatar, British Airways, Cathay Pacific, Japan Airlines, across the whole alliance, the Visa Infinite gets you more for less. R2's take is that the $99 signature, for most of you, just skip it. One World Ruby status doesn't move the needle, and you only get one cardless card anyways. The $4.99 Infinite earns its fee on one thing first: a year of One World Sapphire that opens Admirals Club and flagship lounges that American Airlines keeps locked from its own people in any cabin on a domestic ticket on any One World carrier. The honest competitor is the $5.95 City Executive Card. You get full Admirals membership, but it's American lounges only. The Alaska Lounge Plus is expensive and narrow. There's Admirals Club only, no flagship, and only when you're flying Alaska or American that day. One caveat is that the complimentary gold status lasts 1 year. Keeping it after is a different conversation, and we're going to talk about it in the status section of this video. So let's talk about the timing of acquiring either of these Qatar cards. I'm a champion of the Qatar Visa Infinite. You can probably tell, but even I'll tell you that there's a best time to pull the trigger. The last couple years, the strongest welcome offers have landed in November, December, and January. An elevated welcome bonus, plus an elevated multiplier on dining, 5x during that same period. So, if you're not in a rush, if you don't have a trip already on the calendar, watch for that end of year offer. That's historically been the sweet spot. But if you do need One World Sapphire status right away, then now is the time. Now, when it comes to booking award travel, there's been a change by Qatar on who you can book a Qatar seat for using Avios. It's definitely more restrictive, but I think that it actually makes the Visa Infinite a lot more valuable. Sometime this year, and I'm not sure exactly when, Qatar quietly changed the rules on who you're allowed to redeem your Avios for. It used to be simple. You had the Avios, you had someone's name and passport number. You could just book them a seat. Not anymore. So here are the rules, and as you can see, there's no change in booking award seats for yourself. However, when it comes to booking for anyone else, they must be saved to your My List or Friends and Family. And with My List, you're limited to 4 people, and with Friends and Family, you're limited to 6 people. But the biggest call out here is the activity requirement. You must have credited at least one eligible flight from Qatar or a partner, or made at least one Qatar co-branded credit card transaction. Transferring bank points into Avios by itself does not count. So please read that activity row slowly. If the only thing you've ever done is transfer Amex, Bilt, Capital One, Citi, or Chase points into Avios, you may not be able to book a seat for your own player too. Not your kid, not anyone, just yourself and your Dalmatian. That's the exact move that most of you watching this have been running for years. Transfer in, book a Qsuite for the family, and that's it. Sorry to report, but that door is now closed. Unless you've flown a qualifying flight or you've put a single charge on a Qatar co-branded card. Is it making sense now? Do you see why this card is more valuable than before? R2's take is that this is the sleeper reason to hold the card. Everyone who's reported this Qatar change is reporting it like bad news. For US cardholders, it's the opposite. One transaction on the signature or the Infinite satisfies Qatar's activity requirement and unlocks your ability to redeem for folks on your My List and Friends and Family. The people getting burned are the pure transfer crowd with no flight history and no card. And in Canada and the United Kingdom, they can't even get the card. Us Americans can. So the same rule that's locking others out is the rule that makes this card essential if you ever plan to book Qatar awards for the people that you travel with. Just hold the card, put one charge on it, and you're unlocked. Now here are a couple workarounds if you don't want the card. So the first is credit one qualifying One World flight to your Qatar Privilege Club account that unlocks it too. Now please note this needs to be a paid flight, not an award flight. Qatar's language makes it clear that it needs to be a flight that accrues Avios. So don't think that crediting an award flight to Qatar will get the job done, because your award flights will not accrue Avios. Now the second option is to move your Avios over to British Airways Club and book the same Qatar flight there. British Airways doesn't have this restriction. Now the downside is that not all Qatar award seats are visible to partners. So the flight that you want, you might not be able to see it on British Airways. There's actually a back door that I cover in the associated club member video. So be sure to check that out. So let's talk about how to earn Qatar Privilege Club status. So the Infinite hands you gold status for a year. Holding it after that is a different ladder, and here's how it actually works. So Burgundy is the entry level, Silver requires 135 Q points over 12 months, Gold requires 270 Q points over 12 months, and Platinum requires 540 Q points over 12 months. Q points are earned by, it's a combination of spending on the card and flying with Qatar or One World partners like American, Alaska, British Airways. And how much you earn is based on distance and the fare class. Now there's a retention reality here. Keeping your gold status past your complimentary year means earning most of your Q points in the air. You want to ensure that your welcome offer includes 150 Q points, and that means that your path for requalifying in year 2 is very doable because you'll only need 120 additional Q points to reach the required 270. Year 3 is a challenge, but that's when you're gonna pivot to your player 2 acquiring their Visa Infinite, who you will refer. And then right after player 2 gets approved, player 1 cancels their card. So this is a 4-year play between player 1 and player 2 holding Qatar Gold status. Cardless currently reads that you may not receive a welcome offer a second time on the same product. However, 4 years is a long time, so who knows if the rules will change, allowing player 1 to acquire and receive that welcome offer again. Perhaps you'll become a Qatar convert and decide to keep the card. R-Squared's take, and this is the honest verdict, the Infinite is a buy your way in card, not a buy it forever card. Year 1, you'll walk into Admirals Club and flagship lounges that you can't get into with your American Airlines status. Year 2, with a little effort and some help from your 150 Q points from your welcome offer, you'll retain your gold status for the second year. In year 3, you'll either fly enough One World to earn all your Q points, or let gold go and decide if the card earns its keep on earning Avios alone. So here's where we land. You got 2 cards and 1 issuer. You need to pick one. The $99 signature, again, for most of you, take a pass. Ruby status is mid, and there's no US lounge access for you. The $499 Infinite, you get a year of One World Sapphire that gets you into the Admirals Club and flagship lounges that American Airlines locks out its status members from. And you get a head start in maintaining your gold status through year 2. And one more thing that the rest of the content creators are calling bad news, Qatar locking down who you can book Avios for. For those of you holding this card, that's not bad news. 1 charge unlocks it. The people without this card, they're the ones that are stuck. And here's my biggest point, the one that I actually care about. Stop assuming that the best card for an American flyer has to come from an American airline. Sometimes the smartest card in your wallet for booking travel might be associated with a non-US airline. In this case, it's Qatar Airways. And again, there's no loyalty here. Here at R2 Travel, we only care about leveraging value. And lastly, I want you to challenge yourself a bit more when it comes to travel. If you haven't visited Africa or Asia or the Arab world as yet, now is the time to do so. If you have questions about your specific situation, head over to boomacompany.com and hit me up in the chat section. If you're a member of this channel, you jump to the front of the line. $1 a month gets you in. That's it. And if you're a club level member, go and watch the associated member level videos. I'm Richard from R Squared Travel Rewards. As always, take care and be good to each other.